the infinite wheel of money continues to spin, not for us, but for what OpenAI is like chunking 30 billion at Amazon or
I think it's time to redraw that infamous kind of
so
meme.
somebody has done this. I got a
Oh, like all the things pointing to each other and
it's the Financial Times has a graphic somewhere.
okay.
It's worth
This,
looking up. So it's not the infinite circle, but it's like OpenAI as the overlord up here and how they are just raining money
oh
down.
yeah, I would do it more like well, like the Microsoft one with the guns were pointing at each
Yeah,
other,
yeah, yeah.
those
Yep.
groups, except it's just lines going in both directions with numbers, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just it never starts anywhere. It's just always, you know,
Yeah. That's how this thing's gonna pop. So here, I've thought about this a lot yesterday because I saw that. I was like, okay, what company aren't they
yeah.
shoveling money at? First off, all that money, as we know, is mostly
Oh,
theoretical at
I
this
was
point,
gonna
right?
say yet, but yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
because they lost because now Microsoft owns like 27% or whatever, and
Hmm.
Microsoft has to report their valuation or whatever loss from that. People
Hmm.
have been able to figure out like how much money is OpenAI is losing per quarter. And it's like $12 billion or something. So
Yeah,
like they're just burning it. Now, granted, they have 800 million. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. Does not matter in the scheme of where I'm headed with this because this is how I think it's going to blow up.
all
Here's
right.
what happens. We've talked about how OpenAI has infinite money, right? And so they are setting markets. They go to Amazon. They say, "Hey, you want your stock price to pop? Okay, we'll announce we're going to spend $30 billion on your cloud or
Yeah,
whatever." So then Amazon stock price goes up. Ooh, magical stuff, whatever.
it's
And
like
so
an
this,
investment now, and
yeah, these are all future things. These are all things that over
mhm.
some period of time they will spend $30 billion as long as OpenAI has $30 billion. So OpenAI will continue to keep raising money as much as they can. The rumor
Okay,
right now is that they're going to try to go public maybe next year or whatever else. And so then they will raise that'll be like their last time that they can raise money.
right.
However, this is when it all falls apart. So one of the things will happen. Either OpenAI can't raise money anymore because there's just no more money to give them at this point. So they
Hmm.
can't raise money, which means they can't make those commitments that are downstream of $250 billion to Azure, yeah, whatever. So at some
Okay.
point, or
Yep.
they go public and then they can't raise any more money because they're already a public company and they can't just infinitely sell shares of stock to more consumers. So the money
Okay.
dries up in one way or another. It's going to happen. The money dries
That
up.
doesn't exist dries up. Yep. Go on.
And so OpenAI then
Yeah.
suddenly isn't making the money that they had on their whatever fancy charts or whatever. And so
Still,
then they are
still,
like, hey, all these commitments we have for these massive spends, we're going to drop them by 15%. How much we're actually going to spend. And
oh,
when,
the first time that happens, by the way, that's when you don't have to wait until some future event. Like
right,
that's going to be the
right. So when that starts to because right now we're not there yet, but we all feel like we're really close. At some point they'll be like, we don't actually think we're going to be able to spend 250 billion with Azure. Every single dollar that
oh my
OpenAI
god.
is invested on,
Right.
every single company instantly becomes in jeopardy, and all of those tech stocks will start to erode. And I think that will be it. Now, Nvidia will get hit hard because as soon as there's a hiccup and like people might not be buying GPUs, then Nvidia's value will drop, which will then just it's going to be a massive crater. And
Oh yeah.
how do we get rich off this, Paul? How?
How? Yeah. How do you short this to make it make sense? You don't because like all of big tech is involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing. Like the
Oh yeah,
60%
they're
of
all
our
involved.
economic health is tied to these 3 to 5 companies or whatever that are all going to crater.
Right.
The thing is, look, at the end of the day, obviously, Google, Apple, well, Apple's not really that involved here, but Microsoft, Amazon, these companies survive and do great, and they're going to be fine. Um, but yeah, God, I can't even, I, uh, I don't know. How do I say this? The most, no, I keep it's the amount of speculation that has consumed our industry right now is troubling. Okay. The reaction from the people who are in decision making capacity at these companies is even more troubling. Like I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned in the interview that Altman and Nadella gave on X, and it's just the sheer vindictiveness of like I just wish I could punish the people who tell us that we don't have any money and we're just spinning in circles, whatever. And it's like, or you know, there are. I read yesterday a two different reports about this from quoting different financial analysts who were like, what's what's the scenario where a chatbot can generate 200 billion in revenues or whatever? Like where are these people coming from? Like we can talk about the astronomical numbers of people that have adopted ChatGPT, right? And the number that are paying for it even, right? But let's say that this thing becomes as popular as Windows or as Office or whatever. So, okay, there are a billion of these people now, or maybe 1.5 billion times. I mean, like how much money are they making? Like how many are
Yeah.
paying? How many, like, what's the ceiling here? Are we actually pretty close to the ceiling, by the way?
I
I
don't know.
mean,
I don't
is
know.
have we effectively reached the end of the rainbow here?
It
Um,
feels like they're doing everything they can to extend the rainbow.
Yeah, I listened to I read, but now I've listened to the Microsoft earnings call.
Mm-hmm.
I will say for whatever it's worth, I because I'm very critical of this stuff. It comes off better in audio than it did written, oddly, which is usually it's the other way around. But um, and then now forgetting which was which because Nadella made a comment about when he asked, I think it was the call. Someone asked him about subscriptions, like or about consumers, and he said, it's not, consumers aren't just advertising. There's like subscribers there. Okay. And then the enterprise, of course, is just basically subscribers. But he just kind of mentioned how, like, when you went from Microsoft, when they went from server to cloud, there was this expansion, right? And he sees the same with AI, and the expansion is not number of users, but the amount of money each of them can pay, because you were paying whatever it was, $10, $20 a month for a Microsoft 365. And now you're like, I need Copilot. And somehow that's worth $30 a month or whatever. And it's like,
Funny
no,
thing is, of what
I
you
don't
just
see
said,
this as an expansion at all.
of all the things that I pay for personally, the
Right.
easiest one to get rid of is the Microsoft stuff.
100%. So it's weird that you just said this. It's weird how this went, because before our call, before we did this, I was just thinking to myself, I'm still working through this. I almost shouldn't say this out loud, but it's almost like I'm becoming radicalized here a little bit against, I guess, big tech and their whole business model thing. But I had written an article, I don't even remember when. I guess it was a year ago. I will not pay for AI, meaning you're selling this thing called AI, and it's like, yeah, I'm not buying that. Like, I'll pay for things that are, use AI, of course. Like, I'm not an idiot or whatever, but everything's going to use AI. But I on a similar vein, I don't know if it will come out this way when I actually write it, but what went through my brain was I am not renting software anymore. Like, I'm going to, like, which big tech makes impossible, right? There is no version of anyone other than Microsoft that's sort of, well, I guess Apple maybe, but Microsoft will sell you Office, sort of, but it's kneecapped and it only installs on one computer, that kind of thing. Or Adobe will sell you, I don't know if you follow this, but like, Adobe has PSL or Photoshop Elements and Premiere Elements, right? So it's kind of neat. You could buy this thing, it's like $100, and you're like, I could use this for some amount of time, whatever. Except you can't anymore. I don't know if you saw this, like starting last year,
Like
that
3
license
years or whatever.
is 3 years. And it's like, so you've figured out a way to turn a perpetual software license into what is effectively a subscription, because this thing will stop. You've put a lifetime on this thing that is very short, comparatively speaking, to other software like that. And I think I think I'm getting tired of this kind of crap. Like, I'm not saying like we all got to go Linux and we're going to buy, we're going to get LibreOffice or whatever, but like, yeah, maybe we are. I mean,
that is the reason why I moved over to DaVinci Resolve.
yeah, right. And it's
overkill
with
for what I
why,
do, but you know what?
yeah,
It's I almost kind of want to give them money because I love the app now.
right. So that's interesting, and we should talk about that at some point, because I'd like to figure that out myself. But DaVinci is very difficult. But when I switched to Affinity, mostly for photos, but then they had some deal. It was super cheap. Now it's free or whatever, but like, it was super cheap, and I got the whole suite, and it's cross-platform. So you can use it on the Mac, you can use it on the PC, you can use it on iPad, right? And as an alternative to Photoshop, like, which is just full on rent, or Photoshop Elements, which is like sort of rent now, that's an incredible deal. And of course now it's free, and now it's a weird, because I kind of liked when you paid for it in a way, like, I know it sounds stupid, but kind of similar to you, like, I I like there to be a paid option and a free option when that makes sense. And I don't see how this makes sense, but like with Spotify, for example, you can have ads and get it for free, or you can pay for it and get a better service, whatever. Like to me, that makes sense. But I don't know what I don't quite understand the model. I'm waiting for the asterisks to appear with like Canva or some subscription or something, whatever it might be. But um, I don't know, like that. Yeah, I don't know DaVinci Resolve because it's hard, but like Affinity is fantastic. Like Affinity Photo is,
Oh, I know. I've been using
I
that for
yeah.
you. I think you or Raf recommended it to me, and I bought the first version. I
Yep.
don't have version 2, but didn't they
Oh, I did.
Canva
Yeah,
buy them
yeah.
and then make it free?
Yeah, so now they have an Affinity app, which is all three of those things in one app, which I, to be honest, I kind of don't like. This is some of the free Office suites do the same thing, where it's like
Yeah.
a single app. It's like, nah, I actually kind of want the standalone apps,
Mhm.
But okay, whatever. And I'm actually having a little trouble transitioning to it. I've kind of stuck with Affinity Photo 2 for now. I mean, we'll see what happens. But
Yeah. Whoops. Can I still download that?
if you own it, yeah.
I don't own it. I just
Well,
own
you
the
don't own
first.
you don't own the second one, yeah.
Honestly, at this point, though, Affinity Photo 1 is fine. Like I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
using it for photo editing. It's just generic whatever
I
meme
use it every day. I
garbage.
mean, for the site stuff or whatever I'm
Mhm.
doing, But whatever. But it's great. And I don't know. This is I didn't this wasn't my this was not my it was not this was not my life. Like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to turn into like Richard Stallman or something, but
Mm.
like who I don't actually respect that much. It's not like that. But I
No, I get it. Part of me, I haven't pulled the trigger on this yet because it keeps getting more expensive than I really want to spend. But I've been
yeah.
thinking about, I want to get a NAS and be able to do.
Yeah. Okay. So I've done. I mean, you say that knowing I've done this, right? Like
Yeah,
I have a
no, I
NAS
know.
here. I've got one in PA. They're syncing to each other. That thing is never not worked exactly correctly. Like it's amazing, and it's yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, first of all, you're technical. You do this kind of thing. You'd have
Mhm.
no problem with it. You would dive right into it. You would find things I still don't know how to do very quickly. Like you're good at that kind of thing, but like it's not like I want to be super careful here. Like I'm not religious about it or whatever the term is. Like I don't my thing is not I am going to eliminate big tech from my life. Like I still think that through maybe regulation and just whatever normal market shifts that maybe they could change for the better in some ways still, and there are still uses. I'm not gonna just like knee jerk reject this stuff. You can't. I mean, if you use a phone, you can't. There's no way around. Like you can't avoid it completely. I'm not gonna be weird about it. But like, I think this is the time to start doing the right thing for yourself. I mean, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And some people will be like,
Which
whatever. I'm
NASs do you
just love
have? Just
Apple. Who cares? What
curious.
NAS do I have?
Yeah.
I have two different. They're both Synology, so
Okay.
they're and neither one of them is like the very latest brand, like the one that just came out. But they don't change that much, like year over
Mhm.
year. So the one I have here is just a 2-bay,
Yeah.
no big deal. The one at home is 4-bay. I'm only using 2, but I'm going to get 2 drives and use that for backup. So there's syncing, and then I'll have backup local in Pennsylvania at some point. And then what I probably will do too is some backup, just of the most important stuff to the cloud, I guess, like
Yeah.
whatever that looks
Yeah.
like. I have
The problem is like I was looking into it and I was like, okay, I'm already $1,000 into this. It's like, oof, oof.
Yeah, but yes, right. Very quickly, it's yeah, a NAS is about $1,000, right? I mean, it's going to be or plus or minus, and yeah, you have to be redundant.
Mhm.
This can't be your only version of anything. You got to be careful about it. You want to be smart, but I don't know, man. I'll tell you, every once in a while, like I'll get up in the morning and there'll be like an email from Synology, or it looks like it's from me, but it's about
Mhm.
Synology, and it's like one of your packages is out of date, and you're like, oh, thank God, it's nothing. It's like I just you
Mhm.
update something, or every time I use it instead of OneDrive or Google Drive works perfectly. I don't think about it, like it just works. Like
Right.
sometimes you have to just let time go by, like just do it, and when things go south, like you'll see something where you're like, oh, that's not what I wanted. Like, okay, maybe it's okay, and then
I'm more worried about not the the thing I'm most worried about is actually just
Mhm.
getting locked out of like my Outlook account.
Your Outlook account. What do
Yeah,
you mean?
like so I have a bunch of good stuff in OneDrive, right? Like my
Oh,
OneDrive, And then
Yes,
all
I'm
of a
sorry.
sudden that account gets
Yep.
locked. Microsoft's like, nope, you've done something. Because I've
Well, this is what happened
brattedoutlook.com.
with us with YouTube last year.
Yeah.
Random, like one day, I was like, "Hey, it's like, hey, thanks for all the warnings, guys. Thanks for the, something's not right with your account. Here's how you fix it, or
Mhm.
whatever." Like there was nothing. It's just one day we couldn't get in, and I don't know what it is, a terabyte plus of Google videos or videos you've made
Mhm.
and put up there and whatever, and it's like, how do we get that back? you know Yeah, that no, right. Yeah, of course. Of course. So
Maybe OpenAI could fund my NAS somehow.
just ask ChatGPT.